Well,
that's some talent.
As Judd Trump comes into the arena, I can tell you that the year before he won the World Amateur Championship, his partner in this team, Zhao Yulong, won it when he was 15.
England break.
That's the World Amateur Championship for grown men.
Mind you, in fairness, the man breaking off was a bit of a youthful prodigy. He won the English Under-15s Championship when he was 10.
Not the all men's.
No, Under-15s when
sorry.
he was 10, but that's still a phenomenal achievement.
Absolutely. Did he win the English Amateur?
I'll come back to you on that one.
But to win the World Amateur Championship at 14, young mint out. Caught the other red first, and that could be an early disaster. Has he left anything? Well, it's a very difficult pot to the right corner and left corner. Just goes, and just did. Will it come out of baulk?
One.
Not quite. Now we're going to see a big screw shot. Into the middle. Yes, we certainly are. And you heard the crowd there go, wow. What a shot.
5.
And when
6.
snooker's played like this, it's so good to watch.
Well, I've said it many times, it's a privilege to commentate on Judd Trump. Love watching him play. And in answer to your question a little earlier, very surprisingly, his name does not appear on the English Amateur Championship trophy.
13.
He won so many different junior divisions, but not the English Amateur. His great mate Jack Lazowski won it in 2010, but not him.
14.
Yeah, something that eluded me as well, Phil. The English Amateur title and the World Amateur.
19.
And a Welshman beat me in both. How does that work out?
20.
Good recovery.
Well, back in the early 90s, of course, we had an Irishman and a Scot playing in the final of the English Amateur. Joe Swale and Eurosport commentary colleague Alan McManus.
And if I remember rightly, we couldn't enter their tournaments.
27.
Welsh or Scottish.
But you've let it go, Joe.
28.
You've let it go.
Yeah, I never think about that, do I? Huh. Not. I wanted to skim past the red there.
35.
It's still on this red to the left corner.
36.
Well held for the blue. Right side of the blue. One more loose red. Yeah, Griffiths and Wilson
41.
thwarted me.
42.
Two great players, by the way. Now he's got an angle here to go into them, and if he could miss the pink, let's have a look how he plays this. No, just into them. Hope for something. Is he on the red to the middle?
47.
This is a lot tougher, this red. Yeah, good shot. Made it look easy.
48.
Taking the cue ball down towards the baulk area just in case. But one good pot here. One good positional shot and it should be all over.
$51.
Well, we saw a few moments ago Trump winning the deciding frame of the quarter-final against Northern Ireland with a dashing 93 break, picking up the thread of excellence in the first frame of the semi-final.
And did you like that little shot he played there? A little screw to those two reds to develop them, knowing he was going to stay on the pink. Delightful little shot.
58.
And he needed one chance. And within 4 or 5 minutes,
59.
it looks like he's going to win the frame. Not quite hard enough for the red into the left corner, but I always knew he was going to be on this red to the middle.
65.
Just the red needed.
66.
What a start.
Talk about putting down a marker.
I
Now
don't
the
think,
target is to make what would be the 15th century of the tournament.
and I was about to say that I don't think there's been any doubt that
72.
England have played the best snooker. As you were saying earlier, they lost the least
73.
frames.
$79.
Well, nothing much that he could do about it, I'm afraid.
8.
And developing the red a little better.
Turn your phones off.
Superb. Absolutely superb. Great shot from Judd Trump.
85.
Has made a century in the tournament already. 112 when England beat Australia. That was against Kurt Dunham in a singles when a 147 was a possibility. And now another 3-figure contribution remains on the cards.
I think if he ever wins the World Championship, Judd Trump will just see him go to a different level. His confidence will be so high. And you could even see the
93.
crowd shouting wow there. Come on, Judd. We're all rooting for this shot. Oh, what a shame.
England 93.
At least
And
symmetry. 93 from Trump to finish off the quarterfinals. 93 from him to start off the semi-finals. Well, that was pretty explosive stuff. The first frame over in no time. England sprinting away. Get China B back onto level terms very quickly. They trail. Judd Trump was exceptional in the first frame. Barry Hawkins would love to repeat that kind of standard and double the English advantage. They've played twice before on the professional tour, these two. Hawkins prevailing on both occasions.
That's a good safety. Well, it was a big shot. I knew he was leaving reds on. I think he can cut this red to the middle, although the cue ball could be going near the baulk corner.
One.
So Barry Hawkins in with a very good chance here. Ball's already nicely spread, and that was a massive kick. Very nearly missed the blue.
6.
So thin cut, needs to miss the yellow, needs to pot the red. And did both. It's a good job he missed the yellow and it hit the yellow in the end. And a good return of safety from Barry Hawkins. Zhao's in a little bit of trouble here. Not sure if he can come off the left side cushion. No, he's playing twice across the table, trying to land up into the reds just below the pink. Yep, he'll settle for that. caught the reds too thin. And he's left a red to the middle or the corner for Barry Hawkins. Not an easy table this. Very few reds go, even though the spread and the opening red isn't easy.
One.
Yeah, just lost the cue ball a little. He wanted to be on the blue to be able to maybe play cannons to the reds. Now, what's the damage? He's left one to the middle.
England. One. One. Seven.
Well, Zhao Yulong hoping to do today what he did yesterday.
Eight.
Hours ago, he came to the table for the first time with China B trailing 1-0 and made a lovely 98 break to win his singles against Jeff Jacobs. That puts China B on the eventual road to success against Belgium, and it was Zhao Yulong who made the decisive thrust, a 59 break in the all-important 7th frame against Brazil. Here's an interesting little statistic for you, Joe. The combined age of China B,
13.
Zhao 19 and Yan 17, is 2 years younger than Barry Hawkins.
I love these little stats that you come out with. He's missed that one though. To be fair, it was an awkward table.
China. 13.
So just wonder if he can drop in behind the yellow here. He didn't think so. That's a good safety though. Always dangerous playing the ball so slowly all the way down the table. You don't know if it's going to drift off slightly, catch some finger marks. But by playing the shot that he did, he's left himself in trouble. He had a shot to play back down the table, play the safety.
Not that this is in their minds, but China B have an extra incentive to England. Zhao puts together a really good response. Yes, Zhao and Yan Bingtao haven't yet qualified for the Champion of Champions in Coventry in early November, a very lucrative 16-man event. If they were to win this tournament, they'd be in line to perhaps appear there. Hawkins, of course, is the World Grand Prix champion, and Judd Trump as the Players' champion. Their places are already guaranteed.
So they'd both be allowed to play in it then, would they?
Well, the World Cup is a little down the pecking order, so they're not guaranteed to be there, but they'd certainly have a realistic chance of getting the invite. When Zhao and Yan Bingtao won this in 2015, that got them to the Champion of Champions that year, and Yan Bingtao, as a 15-year-old then, defeated Sean Murphy in the first round.
It would be nice to see them both playing it, I can tell you that. Thin cut to the corner, playing it with left-hand side to miss the black. Well played.
One.
Doesn't want to be straight on the yellow. Needs to have a little bit of an angle, and he's got it. To come back down the table for the reds. And ideally, he'd like to take the red that's closest to the black spot. If he could play for that, then, and he doesn't get on it, then he'd be on other reds.
Three.
Too high. And that was another chance.
China. Three.
So as long as he plays this fairly hard, he'd be on the black or pink.
One.
A little harder would have been nice.
Yes, and this is no gimme.
Well, a chance to settle now and win this second frame. The balls are nice.
Seven.
The two reds closest to the black spot could do with playing for
Eight.
those reds. Well, he's got a nice angle on the pink to have played for those two reds, but the black must go once he's potted it here. So the black must go.
$15.
If it doesn't go, it makes these two reds awkward by the black.
$16.
Black goes, little cannon to the red to stay on the other red into the same pocket. Doesn't want to push it to the cushion, just a gentle cannon. Or bounce it off the cushion like that.
$23. $24.
What's the angle like for the red to the middle? Difficult to tell
31.
from this camera angle. A shake of the head, he doesn't like it. Don't blame him. Well, the red to the other middle looks slightly easier. Doesn't like that one either.
England. 31.
Well, there's a possibility that this red on the right side cushion may double into the left corner. I think the black could be in the way. Well, he didn't play it hard enough, or played it too hard. So another chance for Hawkins. 22 points the lead.
One.
Yes, and it looks as though his decision to be cautious after he ran out of ideal position on that run of 31, it looks as though that decision has been vindicated. Or
Maybe
maybe
not.
not.
Wow,
England.
that is
1.
surprising. What a great chance that was to lead 2-0, and now he's got to rely on his opponent to miss.
One.
Well, a player with Hawkins' experience and career achievement, that miss on the pink, wholly unexpected. And it's that kind of mistake, Joe, that often can prove a turning point.
Yep, absolutely. Should have been 2-0 up there, guaranteed. He was already 22 points in front. Didn't need many, didn't need the safe reds. A surprising miss. But this one frame snooker, playing for your country, is a different kind of pressure that the players are normally used to.
7.
Now I've got the ideal angle on the black to play for this red behind the black.
Fourteen. 15. 22.
So important to leave this cue ball high on the black so he can get to the last red.
23.
And it's not going to be easy, this red. Scores all level. I think he's playing the cannon to the red. And that's worked out a lot better.
30. 31.
Nice angle on the black to move up towards the yellow. Needs the brown.
40. Three.
He was let off the hook, there's no doubt about that. The Hawkins miss came as a shock to the system. Nevertheless, when you get a chance, you've got to take it. And Zhao has been impressive here. No great positional heroics, none needed. 24 in front, 18 on the table. England need a couple of snookers. No trick shot, but a 58 clearance to the pink, and of course it was the pink that Barry Hawkins missed that allowed Zhao to the table and allowed China to draw level at 1-1. So far, Judd Trump absolutely brilliant during his 93 break in the opening frame. But I'm afraid Barry Hawkins, from an English perspective, missed the boat in the second.
Well, a boat pink in colour. And Judd Trump leaving a chance at this long red. And Zhao Yulong.
If you're wondering about the order of play, by the way, I can tell you that next up it's Trump against Zhao. Then in frame 5 it will be Hawkins against Yan Bingtao. And if frame 6 is required, that's another doubles.
Caught it just a little too thin. But nothing easy. He's got a couple of reds on to both corners. But no guarantee of position off either. So playing the safety. And it's a big target, the brown and yellow. Try and get in behind them. And just needed to be a little harder. That was an extremely fine shot, and what a great return of safety that was. That was a fantastic shot. Had to just catch the paint on the red. And he's got the snooker. Took his time about playing the shot, but when he did, he executed it superbly. Well, quite a lot to think about here for Judd Trump. He'd like to land up to the red behind the black, but getting to that red is one big problem. Playing the two cushion escape and caught it much too thick. Now, it could have been worse. He's got an easy enough red, but getting to a colour could prove to be a problem. May have to play a deep screw off the red above the black.
Spider, okay.
Spider call for, so this shot not as easy as what I first imagined. I thought he could get to it with the rest. So all of a sudden that changes the shot considerably. Well, that's a great shot, and he's developed the black and he's on it. It's a thin cut, but he should be on the red above the middle if it goes in. He'll fancy this.
Eight.
Well, he's on a red to the left corner. Couldn't hold for the red in the middle. This, again, a very tough red to take on. But Zhao Yulong pots it, and he's in with a great chance now.
Well, the quarter-final hero prospering in the semi-final.
And another delightful little cannon developing those two reds. What a talent this
16.
young man has.
I know our friend and Eurosport commentary colleague Neil Folds
17.
holds Zhao in a very high regard, and it's easy to see why. He's got a really good temperament.
Yeah, Jimmy White also likes him.
Yes, and those two are pretty good judges, aren't they?
Well, been there and done it, haven't they? Neil, I think, was up to number 2 or 3 in the world at one stage. And to say he had poor eyesight, he did extremely well.
0.5.
And there's a connection between Jimmy White and Neil Folds and what's going on the table at the moment.
Which is?
Well, the last time England won the World Cup in 1989, White folds and a certain Steve Davis
32.
delivered the trophy. England trying to end,
33.
to use a football vernacular, 28 years of hurt.
Is it 28 years?
Well, of course, the World Cup went into abeyance from 1990 to 96, and then from 96 to 2011. So it is a skewed statistic somewhat, but yeah, the last time England won the World Cup, 1989.
40.
Beat the rest of the world. South Africa's Silvino Francisco, New Zealand's Dino Kane, and Tony Drago from Malta, 9-8 on a respotted black.
Doesn't get any closer than that. Meanwhile, Zhao Yulong could have done with playing that shot on the black a little bit harder, being
41.
straighter on that red. But it's got a nice angle on the yellow to come down for this red above the black. It could even play for the black, for the red on the cushion, closest to the black cushion. And that's the one he's played for. Didn't want to be
43.
too straight on the red. Otherwise it's going to be a deep screw shot back to the cushion and off. Yeah, didn't pot it cleanly, and that's left him with this tricky black. We may be able to get the cannon to those two reds closest together. If not, then drop it in dead weight for the red down the cushion. Don't think he can hull for the red above the black without the cannon. It's a good pot, but he's on this red down the cushion.
Hasn't this been a
51.
fighting break? Every credit.
Well, actually, he's got choice of reds. He has got that red above the black, and that's one that I'd be taking, because I'm not very good with the rest. But he is, and that's another
52.
great recovery shot. Red goes to 59, so he might just play the cannon
59.
into the reds here. Try and catch them half ball, it'd be on the black and pink. He doesn't need to. He could play for the pink or the blue from this red. Try and nudge them the last time round, next time round. Wondering if they're going to get back to the table. Yep, he played the shot that I suggested, just played it a little bit too hard for me. So another pressure shot this. Still plenty left on the table if he misses. No, it wasn't easy. Unfortunately,
Time,
the black has
60.
run safe. It was a good 60 break. Well, if this is a plant to the middle, he's got the ideal opportunity to play the cannon to the black as well. Well, there goes the red.
One.
But he didn't put anything on the cue ball. to play the cannon to the black.
Apart from the black though, this is a really good table to mount a counter-attack. Hawkins looking to redeem himself after
6.
that poor miss on the pink in the previous frame, which cost him dear.
7.
Not imperative he pots blacks. If the pink goes in, he's going to be 47 behind with 59 on. So, a degree of leeway.
Thirteen.
And this time the
14.
right side of the pink, just to stun for that red below the pink, into the left corner.
Point. .1. .7.
33 the difference. Any colours would be okay. Always easier to get to that last red if you're playing on the blue. If he comes too far, he can take the green.
One negative for England though, as Hawkins plays
28.
that one inch perfectly. The final black will be required, and it's not best placed for a left-hander.
No, that's why he could bring it off the cushion with the yellow. If he leaves an angle on the yellow to bring the black into play, it'd still be on the green. Let's see how he plays this.
34.
Just about the right side of the blue. Now, is he going to leave an angle on the yellow to bring the black into play? And that's not the ideal angle on the yellow
39.
to play the cannon. We may have to do it from the brown.
41.
Now, will he leave an angle on the brown to bring the black into play?
.44.
Well, he has done. And he needs to play this at a little bit of pace. And that looks just about right. Coming off the two cushions for the pink. And very fair, this crowd, applauding that shot.
What a steal this would be.
A little heavy. Right in the middle. And coming around nicely for the black. It
59.
needs to keep running a little further. Well, there's a little bit more to do on this black, but you would expect him to pot it. What a steal.
England 66. and
Barry
10.
Hawkins comes good. All is forgiven from frame 2. That could be a vital moment. Judd Trump well aware of that as he says, thanks Barry, I'll take over from here. Wow, what a turnaround in momentum. England 2-1 up. Fourth frame, it features Zhu Yulong, rocked back on his heels no doubt by what occurred in the third. He made a really well crafted 60, but the cue ball came a little close to the side cushion for comfort. He missed a black offed spot, and Barry Hawkins brilliantly cleared up with 66 to win the frame on the black, and that's why England lead 2-1. I was about to say Trump looking to press home the advantage, but the double kiss was precisely what he did not want.
One. Eight. Nine.
Well, the dream match, these two. Yulong and Judd Trump. Don't think it'd belong this game. Immediately opening the pack of reds, trying to hold for this red to the left corner.
$17.
And if this match does go the distance, you get the feeling this will be the matchup in the decider, the two nominated players.
Doesn't want to land up behind it, and that could be end of break.
20.
A little harder, a little slower, and it was on choice of reds. Too hard enough.
Yes, what they call an anywhere but there shot.
Well, he's seen one. It's a tough one to the left corner. Cue ball going back down the table. Not quite thin enough. We played it with some safety in mind.
One thing I feel I must say before it's a little too late, the table fitters here, working for Star Tables, who provide all of the tables for professional tournaments, they've done a great job. It's been very hot here in Wuxi this week. Temperatures high 80s, low 90s Fahrenheit. Very high humidity, lots of thunderstorms around. And yet, barring a few springy bounces off the bulk cushion in particular, barring that, I think conditions have been really good, Joe.
Yeah, there's been very few kicks, I've noticed this week. There has been some, but not as many as what we're used to.
In years gone by, one of the great issues with high humidity was slow tables. This has not been slow in the slightest. Of course, it's an issue they will have to deal with when the China Championship takes place next month in Guangzhou in southern China, which is not too far from Hong Kong, and at this time of year gets pretty steamy. Interestingly, they haven't announced the referee for the final yet. The official documentation said that it would be dependent on results. Obviously, if one Chinese team is there, it won't be a Chinese referee. If England get there, it won't be an English referee. If two Chinese teams are involved, a Chinese referee would be able to don the white gloves.
Good point. Meanwhile, he's looking at this plant to the right corner. It's very risky. Cue ball's going into the reds. Well, he's not taking it on, and I'm surprised, because I think Judd Trump will, unless this red comes over the pocket and makes it even easier. Wasn't a nice flick off the red. That a little thicker, and it'd have been on a colour.
Yellow ball. England 1.
Good safety. Not quite a snooker, but very difficult to see a red where it can get back up the table from. And like I say, if he does manage to get back up the table, I think Trump will take that plant on. It needs making slightly. Well, chance here. Red to the right corner. Could screw back for one of the baulk colours. Or indeed even play for the blue. Well, that looked the harder shot to play. Deep screw shot there. And that could be very expensive.
I'd go so far as to say it should be very expensive, because Trump, in the first frame of the match, looked in really good nick. Oh, unbelievable.
Wait for it. Wait for it. Yeah, I agree. Unbelievable. What a let-off for China.
One.
And that's the phrase we were using when Zhao played Barry Hawkins in his first singles. He was let off when Hawkins missed the pink to that very same middle pocket to which Trump missed the red. I'm astounded.
Six. Seven.
And normally Zhao doesn't need any more than a second
13.
invitation.
Fourteen.
He just caught the red going into the pocket there.
One.
Just about got the angle on this red to bring the cue ball away from the cushion.
.2.
Well, if England do lose this match, they'll look back to those two pinks to the middle. That cost them 2 frames.
Well, Trump's mistake, of course, Joe, was the red, not the pink.
Sorry,
.9.
the pink. So that's their middle.
But regardless of
30.
colour, you're right, Joe, equally expensive.
Fifty-six points the difference. Still needs a couple of reds.
Well, this match has been two things, entertaining and unpredictable. When one side seems to be on a high, something happens and it turns around.
38.
Oh, the last roll. He dropped in the pocket. Still needs another red and a colour.
45.
Sorry, just a red needed, and ideally on this red.
46.
He's a terrier, there's no doubt about that. And there's also no doubt about the fact that
53.
he has been China B's star player, particularly in the knockout phase.
It won't be long till he's in the top 16, this young man.
54.
And it will be a delight to see him there. And I think from that moment, he'll just start to improve even more.
Yes, currently 31 in the
59.
world rankings. The only way is up.
60.
Now another good recovery shot.
$67.
Tried to bring the red into play.
68.
Oh, a switch to left-handed. He's got it all.
70.
Zhao Yulong
70
overcomes
frame.
the disappointment of the previous frame. China B, determined to retain the title, are back on level terms with England. 2-2. Little Swan World Cup could not be any better poised. Barry Hawkins breaks off in frame 5 up against Yan Bingtao. 2-2. Race to 4. Started out as the best of 7, now it's the best of 3. I think just based on experience alone, you would make England still favourites. But not by much.
No, I don't think there's anything in it at all. The talent between these four players is incredible. Toss of the coin now, and I'd probably put the Chinese favourite because of the home crowd and support that they have. Although that brings its own pressure.
Well, he picked one out there.
1.
Yes, but he's not on a colour, fortunately for England. And yes, he played the plant.
China 1.
He's a little concerned if he plays the safety shot, brings the cue ball back to the balk area. Like Yang Beng Tao may be able to pot that red by the yellow. So if he catches this a little too thick, now has he covered the red? It looks a good cue ball. Yang Beng Tao already tapping the table. Yeah, good shot. Now, is there a plant there? Hawkins looking at the possibility of the plant. Shook his head, doesn't like it. Let's have a look at it, Mr. Cameraman. There we go. Now, can he make that? He'd have to hit it on the left-hand side as we're looking at it. The third red on the left-hand side of the reds to reverse the plant into the pocket. Well, no, he doesn't want to hit it thin, he wants to hit it thick. Doesn't like it, not taking it on. Oh, that's a disaster for England. Well, maybe the red doesn't go to the middle, but there is a red that will go to the corner. If he dare take it on. The black sat there waiting. Doesn't go past the yellow. Good pot, but didn't really play for the black. If it had dropped it in dead weight, it'd have been on the black, but there was risk that way. He fancied stunning it in, so didn't really commit to the shot. That would have got him to the black. He could have still finished on it with the help of good kisses. So just the safety.
China, 1.
Well, another chance for Yang Bintao. Again, not easy. No, doesn't fancy it. Red to the middle.
If Xiao and Yan can combine to pull off a successful defence of the World Cup, they would be the fourth team to do so. Wales won the first two. England back-to-back 88, 89. In the mid-80s, Ireland won it 3 years in succession. But overcoming England will be formidable indeed. Overcoming China A in the final, should they get there, would also be formidable.
A fraction harder. He'd have had the snooker, Hawkins. Now, will he play this red to the left corner? Well, he's had another look at the plant. Well, if he hits these thin, I can't see it going in. Now he hit the wrong side of the red. And that is truly amazing. He needed to hit the other side of the red. He sent it further away from the pocket the way he played it.
Yes, because when you squeeze them like that, it goes in the opposite way to what you actually logically think it will.
That's right. That's right. Well, that's why it's called the reverse plant. But it's incredible that Barry Hawkins played it that way. It's like he didn't know.
Well into the frame, still only 2 reds potted. You can feel the tension out there. Every member of the crowd absorbed.
What a fantastic shot that was from Yang Bintao. And he's got that black over the middle pocket, and he had to get that. Look where the cue ball is. And the reds couldn't be nicely placed. Unfortunately, the yellow is in the way. Look at this shot again. What a brave shot to take on. If he can just play a slow cannon to the yellow, could be on the red over the right corner pocket. And he's covered that one, but he's still got a red to the left corner.
8.
I don't think
9.
he wanted the kiss on the red. And look where the cue ball's landed. That really is a tough green. And the brown hasn't enough angle on the brown to come down the table. It's got the snooker behind the blue. He's just looked at that. This would be some shot if he's playing to come down the table, or is he just playing the snooker? Well, preferred to leave himself this long red.
13.
It's not as difficult as the one he got to get in with. But it's still tough. Well played. And again he loses
14.
the cue ball. And if the cue ball wasn't close to the cushion, he'd probably take the green on. So just the blue to try and drop him behind the yellow. Played it well.
14.
Yes, it looked a simple enough shot, but had to be executed, and he couldn't have done it better. And with all of the reds in the open, maximum strife for Hawkins. Hawkins well aware of Yan Bingtao's capabilities. They played here in the Wuxi Classic 3 years ago. Hawkins won 5-4 from 3-1 down in the last 32. And bear in mind then, Yan was appearing as a wild card and he was 14.
It's quite incredible, isn't it? Just shows you what talent these two youngsters are. Well and truly favourite at the moment, Yan Bingtao. He's looking at a way to try and land up to those two reds closest to the right corner, preferably the one closest to the corner. Now looking at something different, but it's dangerous to play to land up to that red.
And the amount of time he's taking to make his decision is entirely understandable. Lots of running side applied.
And that was the danger, hitting the wrong side of the red. And this is now a terrific chance for Yang Mingtao and China. Now he could play down for the green, or chances look playing for the pink. I think that's the favourite shot to play. That will get him onto a red where he can get to the pink.
Four.
Well, I thought the red above the pink spot would go. And that's the one he played for, but apparently not. He must have played for the one to the left middle. Didn't come far enough. And from such an easy green, that wasn't a good positional shot. Well, that was a good chance, that, on the green, to get good position on the red and finish the frame off with pinks. 21 points the difference. He may have to bring the blue into play.
Yes, and to make only 5 from there, that really does qualify as a wasted opportunity. The director telling us that the black might squeeze into the baulk pocket, but come on.
China 5.
This is late on in a World Cup semi-final. There's no way he's going to take that.
Absolutely not. Instead, he played a good safety. And it was a good safety. Mingtao gets another chance. Can he survive another one, Barry Hawkins?
You would have to believe the answer is no.
One.
Now, he could come down for those two reds closest to the right corner. By playing for one of those, he develops the other one. Although, if you could play onto the red that's parallel to the pink spot, that leads him to the pink, which is awkward to get onto at the moment. Well, he played the cannon to the black, I believe, but it's finished up absolutely perfect. He couldn't have placed the cue ball any better.
Four.
Well, again, if he's got the angle on the pink, he could play the cannon to the red next to the black. Doesn't need to play that shot. He could just play for the red that's closest to this right corner, which then frees that pocket for the other two reds. Didn't have the angle to play the cannon, that is.
10. 11.
Well, in his first singles,
17.
Yan Bingtao drew a blank, didn't pot a ball. Here,
18.
though, it's Hawkins yet to get off the mark, and you have to seriously wonder whether he will. Because at the end of this visit, more than likely the frame will be well and truly wrapped up.
$24. 25.
So this pink and one more red, to be sure. Pink's enough to leave Snookers, but another red to be sure.
$31. 32.
Just one frame required then for China. And it's going to be the doubles match.
Well, the disappearance of the pink saves us
38.
any unnecessary messing around in this frame. It is over.
39.
And
46.
for the first time in the contest, England will trail. They led 1-0 and 2-1. Now, though, with it all to do.
$53. $55.
Now, I'm afraid at the end of this frame, we will have to go to live
58.
Porsche Super Cup motor racing in Austria. But don't worry, you can see the end of the match on the Eurosport player.
62.
And if that's not available to you before the start of the final, which is coming up at 12:30 UK time, you'll be able to see what happens in this semi-final from here.
67.
Right now, though, the terrific teenagers of China B are in the ascendancy.
73.
So assured, so cool, calm and collected. Yan Bingtao, 17 years of age, makes an 80 clearance. And that means we're one frame away from an all-Chinese final in the Little Swan World Cup. China A already there. China B, they lead England 3-2.
Thank you. Frame 6. Try not to break. One. Seven. Eight. Eleven. 12. Eighteen. 19. 25. 26. 32. 33. 39. 40. 46. 47. 53. 54. 60. 61. 66. 67. 74. England, 74. End frame. Yes. Thank you, final frame. England to break. One. 8. England 8. One. Three. England 3. 1. Brown ball. Five. China. 5. One. Yeah. Sorry. Eight. Nine. England. 9. Foul and a miss. England 4. One. Eight. Nine. Sixteen. Seventeen. 24. 25. 32. 33. 38. England, 38. Yeah. Which one? This one, okay. 1. Four. England. 4. England 4.